Welcome back, everyone, to our next performance of the Shelter in Place Festival. The performance is Joyce, and it is written by Sara Newman. It is starring Christian Black, Donovan Lawson, and it was directed by Kally Duncan. Enjoy, everybody.
Mic check. Check 1, 2, 3. Hello. Oh gosh. Oh, hi, George. Oh, I think you're muted. George, no, you have to still muted. George, you have to click on oh no, that's your video. See the button with the microphone, the one that's red with a line through it? You had to click that.
Sorry, never done this before.
There you are. Wait, I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Okay, one thing at a time, Dee. I can only do one thing at a time.
Do what you need to do.
Remember telephones? Why are those all of a sudden obsolete? Why do you have to see my face?
Well, when was the last time you saw another person?
There! Jesus, Howard Christ. Another person? Like on the internet or in real life?
Real life.
Oh, let's see, I ordered takeout 2, 3 nights ago.
How are you holding up?
Well, let's see. There's a global pandemic raging outside, and I haven't left my house in 12 days except to get my mail, which I only did in the middle of the night to avoid coming into contact with the virus. Thank you very much. And there's... Oh my, the mail. I didn't even sanitize the mail. Hold on.
You're allowed to go outside, you know?
Allowed to go outside? I don't believe that for a second. Listen, Dee, if the doctors and nurses are in full hazmat, how can it be that we can go outside and stand in line at the Home Depot?
Social distancing, George.
Yeah, well, you keep telling yourself that. Joyce, the invite that she sent said 10 o'clock.
Well, it's only about 10 after. I guess she's only a few minutes late. Probably having issues with her computer or something. Oh, speaking of outside, check these out. Just got them delivered yesterday.
Wait a minute. Are you leaving?
No, relax, George. I just like trying them on. Now, I wish I had somewhere to wear them to, though. But once all this is over...
Well, someone's feeling very sure of themselves this morning.
George.
I don't see how you can buy things for a world that doesn't exist anymore and may never exist again. Why are you so sure that we'll be allowed to go out in public after all of this?
Because once the shelter in place gets lifted, we can go back to our boring lives. Go back to the office, happy hour.
You know, before 9/11, we used to be able to send off and greet people at the gate at the airport, and look at what happened to that. My mom, for example, okay, she was a single parent and she worked as a nurse and never got any summers off, so she would just fly me and my brother off to stay with her in Tuscan. And in August, when we would fly home, the plane would land and we would practically just run down the jetway and we would be right there. Now you have to walk a mile to the airport to baggage claim. Terrorists. But who would have even thought that we wouldn't have that anymore? I mean, people probably thought that we would always have a jetway reunion even as they were watching the towers fall.
I think you're being dramatic. But I didn't know that about your mom. That's kind of sweet.
And you used to be able to pump your gas before paying, till the recession hit.
That's true, but paying at the pump is easier anyway.
Where's Joyce?
I don't know. It's only been a few minutes.
Well, it's 15 after.
Well, maybe she forgot. I'll just call her.
Her Outlook says that she isn't even logged on.
Okay, well, maybe her alarm didn't go off. She's probably in bed asleep for all we know. Here, let me call her.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 903456235 is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, Joyce, it's Dee. We're logged into the project meeting, just checking to see where you are. We might just get started without you. Hope everything's all right. Okay, just give me a call when you get this. Talk soon.
Hey, Dee, what if something happened to Joyce? What if the virus?
No, don't say that. Like, I'm sure everything's fine. Let's just get started with the meeting.
Okay, all right. You're right. Let me just good idea. Let me put up my presentation here.
Is it a PowerPoint?
Yes.
Good to know that even a global pandemic couldn't kill PowerPoint. On second thought, let's wait for Joyce.
I don't think she's coming.
Well, let's talk about something else.
Okay. What do you want to talk about?
I saw on the news the other day that we're all going to get a stimulus check.
No, but we're still working. Okay, that should be for people who aren't working.
Well, you can donate yours to me then. What are you gonna buy?
Nothing. I'm just going to save it for the next time I get quarantined in my house and have to pay an arm and a leg for grocery delivery.
But the purpose of the check is that you spend it. You should put it back into the economy. I know what I'm gonna buy. I've been wanting to learn how to play guitar for a while because I can't sing to save my life, and I never learned how to play anything. So I never got to be a part of music. In theater, I would always get great roles in the plays and then would have to be restaurant waiter number 3, just like strictly like dance, non-singing role, you know? But I dated a guy in high school who was in a band, and it was so cool to see him play. And ever since then, I always wondered what it would be like to be a part of that. But what I'm trying to decide if I want acoustic or an electric guitar.
I think that an acoustic suits your personality more.
Oh, really? Which is what?
Well, it means that you're loud, but you're not screeching top of your lungs loud. No, you see, it's a metaphor. I mean, okay, you've got something to say, but you don't have to yell in order for it to be heard. Look, Dee, I don't want to be too encouraging, okay? Then you'll leave me to become some rock star.
Surprisingly deep recovery. And I won't. Yet. I have to get my check first.
Okay, Dee, it's been long enough.
Okay, well, let's reschedule this then.
Well, how do we know that Joyce isn't in the hospital, fighting for her life on a ventilator?
You don't, but don't you think that's a little dramatic? There are a million other things that are more likely. Maybe she's on her way to her 4th grocery store of the day trying to find toilet paper.
But you know that the number of recorded cases and death count for the virus just gets higher every day.
Yeah, don't act like I don't know what's going on in the world. But I was just emailing with Joyce a few days ago. Here, let me tell you what she said. Oh, George, did you see this automatic reply?
No. What does it say?
Thank you for your email. I'm currently away from work due to illness with no plan to return at this time. For immediate assistance, please contact D. Cameron at
When was that posted?
Yesterday. I didn't see it earlier when I logged on.
Do you think she's got it? I mean, do you think she's...
I don't know.
Well, then what should we do then?
I don't know.
Is there anyone that we should ask her or something?
According to her email, that person is me.
Well, then let's call the hospitals. They would know if she's a patient there.
But they wouldn't be able to tell us privacy and whatnot.
We need to do something, Dee. Oh my God, what if she's sick? What if she's dying?
Well, what would we do in that case? If we knew, we can't do anything. We're stuck here. Remember quarantine?
But it's the knowing, Dee.
George, you watch the news, you already know.
All right, fine. fine, Dee. I want you to promise me something. If you get sick, I want you to tell me right away.
And what would you do?
Well, we could meet here. I could be with you so you wouldn't have to be alone.
I'm not afraid of being alone.
Okay, well, what about if I get sick?
I'll be here, George.
Oh, thank you, Dee.
You're welcome. Well, least productive meeting ever.
Hey, I disagree.
Fair enough. I keep forgetting that we actually have to get work done, though.
Well, you're the boss now, right? I mean, at least for the time being, at least until we know.
You're
it.
right. Let's reschedule this.
Okay, good. Sounds like a plan.
I'm glad we got to meet today.
You stay safe out there, Dee. And please let me know if you hear anything at all about Joyce.
I will, and you do the same.
Good to see you. See you soon.
Good to see you too. Yes. See you soon.
Yeah. Bye. Well, okay. Let's see. And stop video.
Great job, actors, and wonderful job to the director. All right. I would like to welcome the playwright, Sara. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you so much for submitting this work. It was so fun. And also had some undertones of severity to it, of course. Yeah, so all right, audience, if y'all would like to submit questions or comments, I can read those to Sara and we can get a Q&A going. But Sara, where are you sheltering in place right now?
So I'm currently in my home in Lower Greenville, but I'm actually a healthcare worker, so I'm not totally sheltered. I still go to work every day.
Well, thank you for all that you do to keep us healthy and keep us safe as you are working. Seriously, thank you from all of us. Amazing. Well, what was the inspiration for this particular work?
Watching this was so great. They did such an amazing job. This was inspired kind of twofold. The first thing that really comes to mind was Waiting for Godot. We did a scene study on this way back when in high school, and I remember my drama teacher telling me, like, you know, you sit on stage until you're bored, you know, until you feel true boredom. And I was feeling that in quarantine the other day, and it reminded me of Beckett's work. And I think if you think of quarantine as waiting, the two really have a lot of similarities, especially if it's that we're, you know, waiting for coronavirus to be over. I don't think we really know what over means, because if you look at the news, it's, you know, there's some debate about when it's safe. And so sometimes I think the waiting feels indefinite. And another thing that inspired this was really when all of this started to take off, just coincidentally, I ended up getting sick. And so there's this fear about, you know, do I have it? Am I going to be okay? Do I need to go to the hospital? And of course, I'm grateful that everything ended up being fine. But I think those two things together really inspired this for me.
Thank you so much for that insight. I do have a question from the audience, from the director, Kally. She says, was this based on a personal experience? And you kind of mentioned that. Were these two characters inspired in any sort of way?
Yeah, absolutely. And they actually come a lot from Waiting for Godot. So if you look at like their names or the scene with the shoes. But as far as, you know, being inspired by a personal experience, when I'm you know, at work, people who work in healthcare know that we've had to be really flexible as we learn more about coronavirus and policies and procedures change. And so it would be that, you know, I was out personally because I was sick, and then I come back and, you know, one of my coworkers may or may not have gotten exposed. And so they were out and came back, and we were just kind of rotating in and out of quarantine. And so it's this just kind of sense of who's next is really where the character of Joyce comes from.
That is fascinating. And I mean, I haven't personally talked to someone who has been in the thick of it as you are right now. So getting your perspective and how it has inspired this work is so fascinating. I wrote down a few comments, and especially one of the comments was, we love a quarantine stress purchase about the shoes. That was from Allie Wonderly. And then I have the mixing the negativity and the positivity. I think we definitely see D being the more positive one. And George is like, no, everything's terrible right now. So talk a little bit about that and how it is hard to balance that if you're a certain personality.
Yeah, exactly. I think we see that fluctuation happen, within ourselves constantly. One day I'm like, all right, we got this, it's okay. And the next day it all feels very overwhelming. But I think it's even interesting to be at work and to see people who, respond differently to things. I would say that I'm appropriately concerned. But there are other people who are like, this is just, it's overblown, and other people who are, bleach wiping their pens every 5 minutes. And so there's such a huge spectrum, I think, that exists within us and around us too. And I think the actors did such a good job of just kind of displaying that polarity.
Yes, for sure. They did a wonderful job. So we have some great comments coming in. We have great job to the actors. So good. My med SLP hero. That was from Hillary Huffman. Stephanie Wyatt says, love the reality of this. Amazing job. Maria Karen says, thanks to the playwright, director, and actors for an amazing job. I have more comments about the show. Acoustic equals personality. Just killed me. And he said you're more acoustic personality. I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah, and we talk about quarantine stress purchases. I actually did buy an acoustic guitar about a month ago. And sometimes when I'm like in my channeling Alanis Morissette, I'm like, man, I really wish this were electric. Where that came from.
Well, then you're an electric personality, electric guitar personality.
That's a compliment. I'm going to take it.
I love it. I have more comments coming in. From Janet. I like the feeling of tenuousness in our connections with each other. This is from Dee Dee. And then Brendan McMahon says, totally also got an acoustic guitar. So people are definitely connecting with that. That is awesome. Well, I do ask, what other works have you had before this, before writing? Have you been a writer for a while?
Writing, I've always been a performer, and writing is something I've been coming into more lately. I'm working on a full-length piece right now. I'm in a wonderful writing class with Jonathan Norton from Dallas Theater Center, and I'm kind of working on shaping that piece, and I'm really excited to see where that goes.
That's exciting. What advice would you have for any aspiring playwrights who are just getting started?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say, especially right now in quarantine, it's to take advantage of all of the resources that are now available to us because the arts have moved online. And so, find a community and find resources to produce and explore your work further. Arts Mission Oak Cliff has a weekly artist support group. Dallas Theater Center is offering courses online. And then of course we have, Tap House Theater, which is amazing in doing this whole festival. And so just take advantage of the resources and the time if you have it.
Thank you so much. Well, I do want to know if you have any questions for the audience on their thoughts about the piece.
Yeah, I think something I would want to know as I was writing this and developing it more, how would it change how you felt about this if you knew or didn't know what actually happens to Joyce? Is that something that would kind of change the severity of it for you?
Yeah, that is such a great point. Well, I guess we will leave it off there. Sara, it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I really appreciate this work. It was a joy to watch.
Thank you so much for having me. And Kally and Christian and Donovan, everybody did such a good job. So thank you so much.
And thank you for all you are doing and keeping us safe and healthy we really do appreciate it. Thank you from all of us at Tap House.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, everybody, we will meet back here at 4:30 to see our next performance. We have more coming your way, so stay tuned. Bye, everybody.